This month, I've been reflecting with you on understanding compassion as a practice rather than just an emotion. Compassion as a practice invites us to imagine people free from pain and suffering as well as wishing or praying for their pain to cease. And when we understand and engage with compassion as a practice, compassion can shift something within us with regard to our relationship with the pain and suffering we see around us. Human beings are meaning-making creatures, and we do so through narrative, through the stories we tell about the pain we witness and experience ourselves. And as Rabbi Herman notes, we can choose how to meet our own suffering and pain and failures and mistakes. Compassion helps us move through past destructive narratives like judgment. Pain is punishment, pain is deserved. Or character building, pain makes us stronger. Or minimizing, everybody is suffering and others are suffering much worse than I am, so why am I complaining? With compassion, we can imagine a way through a path where we can understand our pain and suffering as part of the human experience, rather than increasing our suffering by judging, pushing through, or minimizing. Which is why the practice of self-compassion is so important. If we cannot have compassion for ourselves, for the pain we know most intimately, how then can we have compassion for others that is grounded in our shared humanity? As many of you know, Brenda Rogers has been practicing Buddhist meditation for many years. And she has run groups here, and she's taught meditation here, and she has done other places as well. So I can't remember if, I think you and I had the same thought at the same time. You're like, can I? And I was like, would you? To lead us in an extended practice on self-compassion. So that is what she's going to do with us today. And here's your water.
Hello. Good morning, good morning. So just a word on the word practice, because Buddhists use it all the time, meditation practice. But it's a bigger word than that, and meditation practice is not the only sort of practice we have in the world. Every time you hold a door for somebody dropping bags, or kind of let that person that cut you off the hook in your mind. You're practicing. So, and that all counts. It all counts. So, this is this formal meditation practice, and it's if you're a Buddhist practitioner, it's it's like foundational. It enables that kind of informal practice that we are all called to in the larger world. So don't discount all your little kindnesses, they all count. So classical Buddhist compassion practice is you're taught to start where it's easy. Mindfulness practice, you're taught to start where you are, like what's up now. But for compassion practice, you want to start where it's easy. In the classical meditation practice, you start with yourself. As you heard in the readings, it seems obvious everyone should be able, feel compassion for themselves. So yourself, a dear one, a self, a benefactor, a dear one, neutral person, difficult person, and then all beings. So that's kind of the way it it's taught to kind of grow your circle of compassion in that way, starting easy. Well, when the latest wave of Buddhist teachers arrived in the West, like say in the 60s and 70s, they discovered that Westerners don't find self-compassion the easiest. They find it in some ways the most difficult. You know, we have, I don't know why exactly, Protestant work ethic or something, but we don't find ourselves necessarily the easiest. We have this inner critic voice. Many people have. Maybe you know about that. So they kind of switched the practice up and particularly focused on self-compassion starting, so that people could get, could kind of start with the easier person, which is the benefactor, and then extend compassion to yourself. So that's kind of the backstory there. So Carla found this wonderful poem by James Cruz and called Self-Compassion, and it's from his book called Unlocking the Heart. And miraculously, I sent him an email on Friday and said, "Can I use your poem? Because we want to respect copyright." And he saw it in time and sent me permission. So thanks to James Cruz for that. Self-compassion. My friend and I snickered the first time we heard the meditation teacher, a grown man, call himself Honey with a hand placed over his heart to illustrate how we too might become more gentle with ourselves and our runaway minds. It's been years since we sat with legs twisted on cushions, holding back our laughter. But today, I find myself crouched on the floor again, not meditating exactly, just agreeing to be still, saying honey to myself each time I thought about my husband splayed on the couch with aching joints and fever from a tick bite. What if he never gets better? Or considered the threat of more wildfires, the possible collapse of the Gulf Stream, then remembered that in a few minutes I'd have to climb down to the cellar and empty the bucket I placed beneath a leaky pipe that can't be fixed until next week. How long do any of us really have before the body begins to break down and empty its mysteries into the air? Oh, honey, I said, for once without a trace of irony or blush or shame. The touch of my own hand on my chest, like that of a stranger, oddly comforting. So anytime during this practice, or any time really, difficult emotions arise, this is kind of like self-compassion first aid. And believe it or not, people don't notice. I thought they would when I started doing it, but they don't. So that's kind of a self-compassion first aid. So we're gonna do a practice of sending good wishes towards, starting with our benefactor and then moving to ourselves. So an important part of this is the benefactor. Who is the benefactor? What is a benefactor? Well, in traditional teachings, it was often a teacher, like the Dalai Lama or Thich Nhat Hanh, somebody like that. But for this purpose, we're looking to find the seeds of compassion that lie in all of our hearts. And a way to do that is to think of some being that just melts your heart. And there's no complication of worry or anxiety. So I often suggest people use their dog or their cat. It has that quality. But that's just one choice, and you're not choosing it forevermore. And you're not, it's important not to feel like you're neglecting everyone else in your life when you choose this person to send good wishes to. You're actually asking for their help to find at this moment the seeds of compassion in your own heart. So whoever, maybe it's E.T., whoever awakens that feeling in your heart, is you want to use that being as a benefactor. So take a moment and just maybe audition someone who comes to mind as a benefactor. I love Carrie Newcomer, the writer Brian Doyle. Anybody. Just melts your heart. May you be well. May you be peaceful. You can silently repeat. May you be at ease. And as you're saying the phrases, you can picture this being, as we're wishing, peaceful, happy, well, and at ease. So take a moment to also bring an image of this being into your mind's eye. Maybe surrounded by a radiance of the goodwill that lives between you. Knowing and trusting that this being wishes you well also. So we'll practice for a few minutes. I'll lead it, and then we'll practice in silence, sending good wishes to this benefactor. Wonderful being. May you be peaceful. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be at ease. May you be peaceful. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be at ease. And you can just continue for just in silence for a minute or two, sending these wishes or other wishes, wishing well to this wonderful, radiant being. We'll sit in silence for a moment. And now, knowing, trusting that this being would wish you well also. See if you can see yourself for a moment through the eyes of the benefactor, sitting in the radiance of goodwill. May I also be peaceful. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be at ease. May I be peaceful. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be at ease. And we'll continue in silence, well-wishing for ourselves for just a minute or two. And if you find your mind has wandered, no problem. That is the practice. Just keep coming back. Peaceful, happy, well, at ease. And now you can rejoin in your mind's eye your benefactor, just sitting for a moment in each other's good company. Sitting in the radiance of the goodwill. With gratitude for the compassion and care that this benefactor can bring out in you. And I'll ring the bell. I'll invite the bell 3 times to call us back into the room, and just take your time and come back. Open your eyes slowly. Compassion radiating out like the sound of the bell. Thank you all for your practice.